Hey, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Blue and welcome back to another video. As we know, hunters are one of the most customizable classes in the game. Not only do we have many talent choices that are actually viable, but we also have pets to further enhance and customize our builds. Today, I'll be going over every single pet with special abilities that are going to help take your build to the next level. I want to be clear. My intent is just to get this information out to you guys. You by no means have to abide by this video, and you definitely don't have to change your pet if you've fallen in love with the one that you're using. God knows I'm not the most competitive player, and if you want to use a pet just because you formed a bond with it or because you like the way it looks, and that is okay. When I log on, I'm here to have a good time, and honestly, I think that taking this game too seriously can ruin the very reason we play games in the first place. To have fun. But if you want to grab a pet that's going to further enhance your in-game badassery, then stick around, because I'm about to show you how. Let's get right into it. Guys, before we get started, I just want to throw in there that leaving a like on this video will help me out on the channel, and subscribing will help you to not miss any future content just like this. So, let's get right into it. Before we get into the really in-depth stuff, what I want to go ahead and do, for those of you who don't know, is go over the basic 3 pet families. So it's going to be Cunning, Ferocity, and Tenacity. Basically, Cunning is going to give you a little bit more ability, Ferocity is going to give you a little bit more haste and a little bit more leech, and Tenacity is going to give you just a little bit of a health boost and a little bit more tanking power. So taking a Cunning pet is going to give you the Pathfinding ability, giving you plus 8% base movement speed. It's also going to give you the Master's Call ability, stopping movement and parrying effects for 4 seconds. This is going to be great to get out of stuns or roots. Ferocity is going to give you a base 10% leech, and also the Primal Rage ability, increasing you and your entire party's haste by 30% for 40 seconds. And then Tenacity is going to give you a little 5% maximum health boost, and it's also going to give you the Survival of the Fittest ability, reducing damage received by 20% for 6 seconds. So as we get into the video, just know that the green pets are going to be Cunning, red is going to be Ferocity, and blue is going to be Tenacity. Also important to note is that some of these pet abilities are going to be what I call selfless, and some of them are going to be selfish, meaning that some of them are going to directly buff you or directly debuff your enemy, and some of them, basically the pet's just going to take care of themselves. Not to say that that's not a benefit, but just something to keep in mind. So let's talk about the defense ability really quick. It says reduce damage taken by 50% for 12 seconds. This is one of those selfish abilities. This is not going to be something that you can cast on yourself, at least as far as I know. Guys, let me know down in the comments if there's a way to macro this to your hotbar that it's actually gonna cast it on you, because that would be amazing. But as far as I can tell, defense, this is going to be affecting your pet only, but it's alright, because if you're in a situation where your pet is getting over-targeted, or if like you're in PvP and the enemy team is just wasting your pets and cutting off all your damage, this is going to be a good pet ability to take. Moving on to the dodge ability, says increase dodge chance by 30% for 20 seconds. Another good pet survival ability, and there's plenty of pet species for you to choose from. Alright guys, now this next one's a killer. Mortal Wounds. It says grievously wounds the target, reducing the effectiveness of any healing received for 10 seconds. This is a go-to ability for PvP content, especially in arenas. As hunters, we have plenty of ways to crowd control healers, whether it be concussive shots, wing clips, traps, or what have you, but those healers also have plenty of ways to get out of those CCs. So by taking a pet that grants the Mortal Wounds debuff, you're not only going to be able to crowd control the healer, but you're also going to be able to stop the enemy DPS from receiving as much healing as they need. Now, I'm just going to throw it out there. It is very important, if you want to be highly successful in the endgame PvP scene, or even in the endgame PvE scene, to cross-reference these abilities with the 3 pet families that the pets come from. For example, if you really like the haste and leech buff that comes from the Ferocity pet family, and you're really looking for that Mortal Wounds debuff, you're gonna want to take a pet from this middle row here. Column, excuse me. This is where the builds start to get highly customizable, and I'm telling you, the customization actually doesn't end there, but I'll get into that in just a second. So Mortal Wounds is one of the abilities that you're actually going to be able to macro to your hotbar. Guys, I cannot stress this enough. Having control over your pet is key to being successful as a hunter. So what you're going to want to do before you do anything is go to your pet's hotbar and right click on the ability that grants the Mortal Wounds debuff. What that's going to do is stop it from auto casting. That way you're in control of when that ability is cast. You are absolutely free to let your pet do whatever they want if you so choose. But again, this video is all about taking your gameplay to the next level. So after you've right clicked the ability that grants the Mortal Wounds debuff, you're going to open up your menu and click on macros. Type in whatever name you want, choose whatever icon you want, and what you're going to want to do in the first row is type pound, show tooltip, and then whatever ability grants the Mortal Wounds debuff. Now, it's not just going to be Pound Show Tooltip Mortal Wounds. That is a bad idea. It will not work because every single species of pet that grants the Mortal Wounds debuff has a different ability name. For example, the Devilsaur, it's Monstrous Bite. The Raptor, it's going to be Savage Rend. And for the Lizard, it's going to be Grievous Bite. So we're going to use the Devilsaur's Monstrous Bite as an example. What you do is you type Pound Show Tooltip Monstrous Bite. It is very important to get the capitalization, lowercase, spaces, and all punctuation 100% accurate, otherwise the game will not recognize what you're trying to say. Then you're going to hit enter and go to a second line, and you're going to type /cast Monstrous Bite. From there, just click save and drag it onto your action bar. Now you don't need to do the Pound Show Tooltip, but if you don't, when you hover over the icon on your action bar, it's not going to give you a description of what the ability is. So if that's not important to you, then that's fine. I like to do it just because I'm a little bit OCD. But it's up to you. And the next ability that we're going to be talking about is also a good one to macro to your hotbar, and it's going to be the slow ability. It says reduce movement speed by 50% for 6 seconds. This is going to be great for keeping distance between you and your enemy if you're using one of the 2 range DPS specs, and even if you're playing survival, having a pet that can run up and slow the target is going to be crucial in you closing the distance between you and your enemy. And when pairing this with your concussive shots or wing clips, man, I'm telling you, you are going to seriously hinder your opponent's mobility. Next up is Tranquilize and Dispel. It says remove 1 enrage and 1 magic effect from an enemy. Pretty self-explanatory and definitely useful in both PvE and PvP content. Next we have the Triggered Defense ability. It says when health falls below 40%, reduce damage taken by 60% for 15 seconds. Can only occur once every 2 minutes. Now, I haven't done a numbers test on this, but I am fairly certain that taking a pet with the defense ability or the dodge ability is going to be more useful than the triggered defense ability as far as pet survivability goes. If anybody has any disputes to this claim, feel free to leave me a comment. I'm telling you guys, I'm not fishing. I value your feedback, and if you give feedback to this community, your comment will be pinned at the top, and you are going to be helping other hunters learn and grow just like I'm trying to do. Now here's where the customization gets even more in-depth. Now I already told you that green, red, and blue are going to be cunning, ferocity, and tenacity respectively. What I didn't tell you is that any of these pets with a gold star next to them are actually going to be exotic pets, only available to the Beast Mastery spec. But if you are playing Beast Mastery, I've got some good news for you, because each of these exotic pets actually has another special ability. Now I'll show you what I mean. So let's talk about the Chimera first. Has an ability called Frost Storm Breath. Says the Chimera channels a Frost Breath attack, causing bracket parentheses 0 plus parentheses range. No, I'm just kidding. It's basically an AoE damage over time. Now, if we go back and we find Chimera in the chart that I was just showing you, you're going to see that not only do they belong to the Ferocity pet family, bringing you 10% leech and the Primal Rage ability, but it also is going to come with the slow ability. Guys, this is where you really want to be thinking about your playstyle as a hunter and what pet to take based on that playstyle to take your build and to take your damage, gameplay, and effectiveness to the next level. And like I said, you don't have to follow any of this advice. You can grab whatever fucking pet that you want, and it's going to be just fine. If you're just there to have fun, just like I am, that's totally fine. But like I said, if you want to be in the top tier of players, the upper echelon of players, it is so critical to cross-reference exotic abilities with pet family abilities with special abilities to find the 1, 2, maybe 3 pets that are going to really help you out as a hunter and as a person. Anyways, moving on. Cleft Hoofs come with the ability called Blood of the Rhino. It says the Cleft Hoof has 10% additional armor and increase the effectiveness of healing received by 20%. Another great pet to take if you're finding that your pets are being over-targeted. Corehounds come with a Molten Hide ability. It says when the Corehound takes melee attacks, it infuses its hide with molten lava, causing, however much damage, fire damage, to all further melee attackers for 10 seconds. This is going to be awesome if you are doing solo content, especially solo PvE content. You go into a vision, you send your pet out into the mob, all the enemies swarm your pet, and as soon as they start attacking them, boom, they're all not only going to be focused on your pet and not you, but they're also going to be taking fire damage as they try to kill your pet. Next up, the Devilsaur comes with an ability called Feast. It says the Devilsaur feasts on a nearby humanoid or beast corpse within 5 yards, healing it for 20% of its maximum health and restoring 20 focus over 6 seconds. Cool. It's pretty cool that your pet's feasting on a corpse, but at the same time, you need to have a corpse and it has to go over there and feast on it rather than it just being, a 20% heal and 20 focus restoration. It's cool, but it's honestly it's not that useful. The Crowlust comes with calcified carapace, reducing physical damage taken by however much. So just a little bit more survivability there. Next up, we have the Pterodax with the Updraft ability. Now, it is important to note that Feathermanes also have this ability. I'm not sure why it's not here, but Feathermanes also have Updraft. It says your pet beats its powerful wings, slowing the fall speed of both itself and the hunter for 30 seconds. This ability, I love this ability. This is great for world PvP. This is great for battlegrounds, and this is great, honestly, for getting out of sticky situations, especially if you're coming up from heights, or even if you get dismounted in world PvP. We do have disengage that's going to help mitigate fall damage, but sometimes it's going to be on cooldown, and sometimes you're just going to need multiple avenues to be able to keep yourself alive, really. Super fun ability, super nice to have. But moving on to the Quilin/Stonehound. Come with the ability called Eternal Guardian. It says when used, your pet will miraculously return to life with full health. Guys, I don't know if you saw my Hunter Shadowlands changes video that I put out just recently, but if you don't know, when Shadowlands drops, matter of fact, when the pre-patch drops, our revive pet is going to be a 6-second cast. Currently, it's 2 seconds, and that's almost a little bit of a hassle in PvP. But when you're going into Arena, going into Shadowlands, you're basically going to be fucked if your pet dies. Because what's going to happen is they're going to kill your pet, and while you sit there for 6 seconds trying to revive your pet, granted you could turtle revive, while you're sitting there trying to revive your pet for 6 seconds, they are going to be ruthlessly attacking you. Number one, because your main source of damage is going to be gone. And number two, because they know if you get that pet back up, you're going to put the fucking work on them. Now, I hate, personally, the appearance of the Quilin/Stonehound family. Hopefully, we get some cool ones coming into Shadowlands. But if you're doing PvP going into Shadowlands, I would highly recommend picking up one of these. That is, if you're playing Beast Mastery. Quilins are going to fall under the category of Tenacity, giving you that plus 5% health and the Survival of the Fittest ability. But moving on to the Shale Beast. This comes with Shimmering Scale. It says reduces magic damage taken by however much. Just a little bit more survivability against magic damage, nothing too special about it. Silithids are going to come with the Dune Strider ability. Increases the Silithid's movement speed by 30%. I mean, cool. If you are seriously having trouble with your enemies outrunning you, then I guess this could be useful, but honestly, I think there's a lot better things that you could take other than this ability and the specific species of pet. One species of pet that you can't get much better than, though, is the Spirit Beast. Coming with the ability Spirit Mend. It says the Spirit Beast heals the current friendly target for however much plus an additional however much over 10 seconds. This is a castable instant heal, and it's also a castable heal over time. And they recently buffed Spirit Mend to make it actually viable, and I'll go ahead and put a macro up on the screen for you that I use personally. What this macro is going to allow you to do is that if you're targeting an enemy and you cast Spirit Mend, it's going to heal you. But if you're targeting a friendly and you cast Spirit Mend, it's going to heal the friendly target. So it gives you a little bit of versatility, and it gives you a little bit of multi-purpose functionality with just one button click. Next up is going to be the Water Strider. It comes with Surface Trot. It says allows the hunter and the Water Strider to walk across water. Any damage will cancel the effect. Pretty cool. I personally don't use this. I don't care too much for it over some of these other abilities, but it is super useful if you don't have flying unlocked in an area and you want to take a shortcut around the water, or even in some of these battlegrounds that have a river running through the middle. And overall, just a pretty unique and cool ability as far as class customization. Next up, the Worm comes with Burrow Attack. It says the worm burrows into the earth and shakes the ground above it, dealing blah 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 nature damage over 8 seconds. So it is a castable damage over time ability, as if we don't already have enough damage over times with all of our bleeds and our murder of crows and whatnot, not to mention our pet constantly using their base attack on the enemy. But yeah, if you're looking for a little bit more damage over time power, the Worm would be a good one to go for. Remember guys, there's 3 types of abilities. You got your core family abilities, you got your special abilities, and you got your exotic abilities. What I want you to do is go ahead and pick 1 or 2 of these that really resonates with you and your playstyle. From there, I want you to cross-reference the other 2 ability categories to make sure that you get yourself a well-rounded pet for your playstyle. I personally, after making this video, actually am definitely going to start using a Chimera. It's just got a great combination of not only survivability with the 10% leech, but also a nice boost in your damage with the Primal Rage ability, combined with the slow ability to help keep my enemies at a distance, as well as having the bonus exotic ability of Froststorm Breath, which is a nice extra AoE damage over time. Thanks for watching, guys. Check out the videos to the right if you want to keep watching content just like this, but before you do, make sure you click on this little circle here and subscribe to my channel. Trust me, it's gonna be worth it. Guys, I hope I didn't overwhelm you with so much information, and to all you hunters out there, good luck on your next hunt. My name's Blue Monkey, and until next time, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.